A very happy Buddha Poornima to all of you. Welcome to Dose with Grace. This YouTube channel is specifically intended towards a self-actualized living and sharing that message from my heart to all of you. What can be a better and more auspicious day to begin this journey together than on the day of Buddha Poornima, the day of the birth of Buddha, the Enlightened One. Well, as we reflect upon the life of Buddha and his teachings today, there are various ways we can learn and celebrate that life. One way is to go through the teachings of Buddha and to imbibe from it certain lessons that we can follow in our own lives. Or we can go a step further. We can go deeper into understanding that why there is only one Buddha, even though he's given us all the teachings and all the learnings after his enlightenment. Today, when I was taking shower in the morning, of course, the energy of today is very, very different. It is very, very powerful and it is very, very pure. So, during my shower, and generally it is the time when we are more connected to our spirit, it is a simple ritual that makes us all feel rejuvenated and connected somewhere to our higher thoughts. Most people, that is why they say that best ideas come to us during our shower. So when I was taking my shower, what dawned upon me is the life of Buddha. We've heard so many stories, we have read the teachings. I have been fortunate to find some wonderful books on Buddhism and the life of Buddha. And as I was reflecting upon all of that today, what realization came to me was the fact that we are following the life of Buddha, we are following his teachings, we are following what his precepts are, the fourfold path, the eightfold path, the Four Noble Truths. However, we don't understand that we have a completely different form, different aspirations, different potencies, and different purpose in this life. Look at our own lives, look deep within and see what we have been in our life. There is nothing so whimsical or magical about finding our inner truth. It is not very difficult. It is also not very complicated. It is rather simple. Much simpler than reading difficult scripts which are probably in a language that we no longer follow or we don't completely understand. A lot is lost in translations in English and Hindi. Therefore, the essence is somewhere getting diluted as well. But the purity of our own higher self cannot ever get diluted. The only thing we need to do is to bring that silence and stillness within ourselves at any time of the day that we can afford to, consciously, and connect with ourselves and develop that patience that little by little by little we'll be able to go deeper into our layers and get connected to our own self. Another way to do is to reflect upon our own life. Whatever stage and age of life today you are, you can look back at your life and see what have been your choices, what have been your decisions, what have been your inclinations, very natural inclinations. You may or may not have chosen your inclination towards your inclinations, but what were those? Maybe you can break it down to every decade of your life. And if you're too young, you can break it to every 5 years of your life. the last 5 years of your life and then the previous 5 years before that, and see what was the highlight, what was your most aspiring part of your nature. And you would know a bit about your personality. That is one layer. Going much deeper than that is to understand where those inclinations, where those choices came from. Were they your own choices, or was those the choices of your environment? Are you someone who is very easily adaptable and responsive to their environment, or are you someone who clearly knew from the beginning what they wanted and demonstrated that, either through speech or through actions? At least that much we can easily learn about ourselves, and it doesn't take rocket science or any kind of methodologies to understand. A healthy way to start is to write down. Maybe have a diary which says Journey to Self. I always like finding good titles because they are quite set in intentions, and sometimes when we lose our path, those intentions in the form of words bring us back to our path. So the most easy and the most pure intention is to find a journey to ourselves, the real self, not the personality we show or want to demonstrate or project to the world, but the personality we are, we truly are. So as Buddha looked within to find all the answers, he was bestowed by everything in his life. He was born to a king. He was born a prince. He had all the riches in the world, and his father wanted him to become the next biggest king in this world. He was given all kind of education, the training, the love and the support. However, his natural inclination was very clear right from the beginning. He was a very connected to the 5 elements around him. He treated himself as one of the nature. When he would be a child going into a park, he would be very observant of the nature around him, very observant to the needs and the pains and the happiness of the nature around him. If a bird was shot with an arrow, it felt an excruciating pain in his own heart. That kind of compassion, that kind of sense of reverence was there in Buddha when he was Siddhartha as a child as well. Similarly, we all have certain tendencies, certain potencies that we carry when we are born. And those are very obvious if at all we sit down and understand ourselves. Maybe today when we have grown through our life, we have sort of carried a persona or created a persona that we want to identify as ourselves, because too long of a projection can be mistaken as reality at times. Sometimes when I have nothing to sit and reflect upon, I sometimes reflect upon a very simple question. What is that one thing I am very attached to? What is that one thing that I'm so attached to that I've made that as my identity? It could be motherhood. It could be intelligence. It could be spirituality. It could be a job title. It could be your age. It could be your beauty, your physicality. For me, I think for longest time, it has been motherhood. Unknowingly, unconsciously, that has become my identity to me, most importantly, and hence I reflect it out to the world around me. in the form of my subconscious and conscious behavior, in the form of my choices, in the form of the decisions I make, and even in the form of tastes that I've developed. However, just being aware that that has become one identity that I'm too attached to is enough knowledge to at least work upon the path of liberating yourself from the cage of that identity. There's nothing wrong in being association with a beautiful feeling of a motherhood, but that shouldn't become an identity. At the core of being, we all have the same identity. We are the source. We are the source of our own life creation, our own manifestations, our own decisions, and in a most practical form, the life that we are living. So therefore, how can the same source have different lives? It is because of the intellect that we have put our basic pure knowledge through and sieved it through different perceptions over a period of time, and the impressions we carry from our environment, our elders, our teachers, the caretakers around us, and the overall world that we live in, the changes, the exchanges that we go through. Buddha, being a person of form like us, also went through the same. He was also born as a human to a king. He was also raised as a normal child going through a school along the peers. He also had a good network of friends to play with. He also at one point got married and was domesticated. He was also given responsibilities to learn beyond education, certain talents and skills to be a king. However, his inner voice was never curbed. He always listened to what his heart was speaking to him. And that is why even a small window of interactions that led him to further exploration and self-inquiry led him to finally his enlightenment. So today, as we all reflect upon the life of Buddha, his teachings and his precepts, his Four Noble Truths and his Eightfold Path to enlightenment, let us not forget that his teachings were his own, his learnings were his own, and we may not have yet either the physiology or the level of understanding that he had. So let's work from where we are. Let's reflect within. Look at our own lifestyles, look at our own habits, look at our own choices, little more subjectively and objectively. And then, if needed, write them down and then see who this person is. Maybe we will find some wonderful things in ourselves, and maybe we will discover there are certain things that clearly speak to us that they are no longer serving us. So being our own guru, being our own teacher, is the true path of self-actualized living. Step by step, relentlessly, consciously, carefully, and with a lot of patience, discipline, and choice, it is very easy. I wanted to make a channel on YouTube that where I can share all these beautiful thoughts that come, and I feel they can be of great source of discussion, or at least a conversation within your own mind or with your family and friends. And I literally didn't prepare anything, and I jumped right into it. Probably because it was such a beautiful day, a very blessed day today, and it gave me an added strength. However, whatever makes you feel wonderful to do, wonderful to contribute, and makes you feel like this is where your heart is, maybe you can start it too. It can be anything. It can be writing, it can be buying that book that you want to, it can be starting a new regimen, or it can be developing a certain ritual. It is always the small things that make a very big difference. I have taken this small step, and with the blessings of my Lord Ganesha, I am very happy to bring this beautiful sharing to all of you. To all the members of Dose with Grace who were with me for a very long journey of 5 years, I am very grateful to you because you inspired me in many, many ways. And I am equally grateful to the people who have been my backbone support, my family, my children, and my husband, who have always been very, very big support and great influence in helping me achieve a self-actualized living. But it always begins with you. So never deny the due credit to the fact that you wished it and you acted upon it. So, with the grace of God, with the blessings of Sri Ganesha, and love and support of all the family members, I am very happy to bring this channel of self-actualized living through Dose with Grace to all of you. Thank you for listening, and hope we interact soon again. Please do share your comments, and especially any topics that you would like me to discuss upon. And also share your feedback. Thank you so much for being in this journey with me. Happy Buddha Poornima to all of you.